Going no contact with your manipulated mother could sound like an extreme measure that is going to make you feel guilt or shame. But what if you have already tried everything else? Society usually gives mothers carte blanche under the premise that they give the ultimate gift, life. But they are human beings and as such, they can be manipulative, narcissistic, sociopathic, you name it. The problem is that the daughters and sons of these mothers have a lot of trouble and spend many years trying to understand why their own life is so miserable and why does everyone else seems to get along so well with their own mothers. By the time they reach adulthood, most of them will try to act as adults, try to heal the relationship with their mother, try to make it work, try to find a middle ground. But for those who have a manipulated mother, you know that there is never a middle ground. There's always a battle and you have to keep your guard up at all times. That's the point when you consider ghosting them, and I mean not having any contact of any nature. Now, many people think that this is an act of weakness, that you should be strong enough to understand, to talk, to not pay attention to her flaws. And the fact is that you've been doing exactly that for years, even decades, to no avail. You feel anxious, you feel devoid of energy or motivation, maybe you feel depressed. You have mood swings, and you have come to realize that these symptoms go away when you catch a few days without having to deal with your mother. And I say deal because talking or texting her always feels like a hostage negotiation. Now this video is going to be split into 3 parts. How to confirm that she's manipulating you, verify that you've tried every option to heal the relationship, and in case that you proceed to ghost her, how to deal with society's fallout. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. Number 1, is she really manipulative? The obvious first step before deciding to block your mother from every communication channel is confirming that she's a narcissist, a manipulator, or a sociopath. You don't need to wait until she is clinically diagnosed by a psychiatrist, because if she's an actual narcissist, for example, good luck convincing her that she needs to go to any kind of therapy. The most important red flag that tells you there's something wrong with your mother is that you always feel like you have to put your guard up. Whether it's talking to her, being casually around her, or even just texting her thousands of miles away, you always feel the need to be 2 steps ahead. You will notice that whenever you answer or reply to anything that she says, there are consequences. And you're constantly thinking, how will she react if I say this or this? Because you have confirmed many times that no matter if you go along with her opinions or against them, there's going to be some kind of argument. Another red flag is that she is constantly asking questions about your life to the point of making you feel uncomfortable. Of course, most mothers want to know if their daughters or sons are okay, but when it's a healthy relationship, they let you do the talking. In a healthy relationship, you've spent enough years confirming that a conversation with your mother puts you at ease. You know that you can talk without being judged, and if she's got any suggestions, it's up to you to apply them or not. But a conversation with a manipulative mother feels like an interrogation with the Taliban and the CIA combined. There's questions about your finances, questions about your sexual life, questions about your life decisions, questions about your partner, your children, and the most important factor is that it always feels like a judgment. Sometimes the judgment is subtle, sometimes it's openly criticizing your life, your decisions, and even the life and decisions of your loved ones. There's always one cousin that is doing better than you, one neighbor that makes better decisions than you, the daughter of a friend that married better than you, that classmate that you hated at school that you haven't seen in 15 years. Well, guess what? She saw them on Facebook, and of course, their life is better than yours too. You feel this enormous pressure over your shoulders all the time, and you even find yourself rehearsing, practicing, anticipating possible conflicts with your mother. And it almost never works because she always manages to upset you in some way. Do you think it's normal or healthy that good things happen to you, or you get a sweet victory at your job or at a personal project or with your family that makes you feel real good, but you instantly flip a switch when you think, how is my mother going to react to this when I tell her? You cannot even enjoy your own victories because there's always this ominous shadow over you. Like you have to explain yourself even when things go smooth. And let's say you go on a trip to the mountains, somewhere that you have next to no cell phone signal. Do you feel at peace, but especially because she cannot reach out to you? We need to talk about another couple points first so you can better understand the tool that I'm going to give you at the end of this video. And one of those points is confirming that you've tried every possible option outside going full no contact with her. And that is number 2, confirm that you've tried everything else. And this is extremely important because I cannot stress enough how critical it is that you do everything that is in your power to make the relationship with your mother work. That will help you deal with any guilt in case you go no contact with her, as you'll be sure that you did everything that you could. There is one very clear signal, that is how many times your mother has said words like this. Things are gonna change from now on. I promise this time will be different. I deserve at least one more opportunity. There's always this narrative of having a second chance, that things are going to change, promises made, but either nothing changes or the manipulation just pauses only to be reactivated a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple months later. Repeating the manipulation pattern over and over again is not doing everything you can to fix things. That's just falling to the manipulator's game. You want to put an end to those games. You want to achieve peace of mind. You want to confirm if the relationship with your mother has any possibility of being fixed. And there is one very clear action that you can take to confirm that this is a lost battle. That action is this. You have to talk to her and be absolutely clear and transparent about your own emotions and your feelings. Letting her know about how she makes you feel, the times you think she hasn't been just or fair to you, and of course, the times you know you screw up and your own responsibility in all this. This is a very difficult step to take because you're literally exposing your whole vulnerability to her. And of course, this would be a difficult step even if this was a healthy relationship. But we're talking of years trying to hide your emotions and reactions to prevent upsetting her or not getting hurt. This step is also dangerous because exposing your full vulnerability to your manipulative mother means that you are giving her the full toolbox to make your life miserable in ways that you cannot imagine. But in that sense, it's also a bait. If she's still got any kind of empathy within her, she will feel compelled to open up too. Just be aware that a manipulative person could make up or fake that opening up just to fool you. How do you finally confirm that she's manipulative? Because sooner or later she will use any of those vulnerabilities that you exposed against you. You will feel really angry, you will feel betrayed, you will feel stupid for sharing your emotions with her. But that was the only way, to throw a genuine emotional bait. If you look for professional help, it must be to help you heal, not to change her. If anyone realizes they're manipulative and want to change, they must be responsible on their own. I cannot stress this enough. You are not responsible for their behavior or their willingness to change. Nothing. If your mother keeps playing the victim every time you have an argument and suddenly acts like nothing happened, and half an hour later it feels like you're receiving a complete shitstorm for absolutely no reason, and then she plays the victim again, and this goes on and on and on, then I don't think you need any further confirmation on how to proceed. One final warning. Act like you're absolutely alone in this. Do not believe for a second that your brothers and sisters are going to make the same decision or even support or even understand you. Do not expect encouraging words from your father. You can be sure that your mother saw this coming from some time ago and she has been preparing them to pick one side. And spoiler alert, it's not your side. Number 3, dealing with the society fallout. So you already know that there is absolutely nothing that you can do to sustain any kind of relationship with your mother without taking serious hits to your own well-being or the well-being of your children and your partner. And this can be really confusing and frustrating because you keep running into other people that are genuinely happy to hang out with their moms or even really missing them if they're away or having a relationship based on respect. Does that even exist? you really question it because you've never experienced that. You've never experienced a relationship with your mother based on respect. You feel that since you were born, it has been a struggle. At first, when you were young, the stress of constantly pleasing or at least not upsetting her. And as you grew older, it transformed into a game of Cold War survival in which you are the one who always needs to understand, to tolerate, to look away, or even play dumb to avoid arguments or breakdowns. No one deserves that kind of life. But society is a bitch. And if people find out, and they will, that you ghosted your mother and cut every communication with her, they're going to crucify you. Ironically, the attacks will mostly come from those who have a relationship of respect with their mothers and don't have the slightest idea of what is living with a narcissistic, manipulative, sociopathic mother. And yes, there are going to be people that are going to see what you did, are going to support your decision, but they're not going to say a single word to you about it. They wish they could do the same, but they could not stand society's judgment. But anyway, their opinion is meaningless because you are never going to know it. Do not expect anyone besides your partner and your children to understand or much less support your decision. I can tell you that there's absolutely nothing wrong with ghosting your mother. Your life always comes first. I'm sure that the comments of this video are going to reflect the experiences of people who had no other option than ghosting their own mothers, and they feel like they have broken free from a prison. The action to take is simple. Getting to that decision, on the other hand, can be really difficult just because you can have conflicting feelings about your mother, how society could judge you, and how guilty you feel about even considering this. Maybe you feel like there's something wrong with you, that you are broken or you're going to be punished in some way if you even think about ghosting your mother. And that's why journaling is so important. That's the tool I wanted to talk to you about. To literally keep track of your interactions with her. And before you start journaling and writing down every interaction, you should do an honest assessment of your relationship with her since your first memories. It's critical to qualify her actions in terms of how the outcomes affected you. Were they positive for you, were they negative for you, or were they neutral? And keep a score. I know. She always had the best intentions. That's a sentence that is going to ring in your mind over and over again. Just realize that this belief about good intentions will not go away easily, and your job is just to write down what happened and how it affected you. It sounds cold and practical, but that's exactly what you need. A rational assessment of your interactions with your mother. Reviewing that journal once a month is going to help you have a better perspective of what is going on in this relationship. And in the end, it will be a great tool and support to make a decision that no one else can make for you. One final thought. The fact that your mother gave life to you does not mean that she has the right to make your life miserable. And the fact that you have that life beating in your chest means that you've got the responsibility of living the best life possible. And if it means taking extreme measures, so be it. I've got more videos that will help you understand human behavior and level up your skills on body language. And don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my body language analysis and tips. Take care, my body language buddies.